This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
First at 5, we have breaking news. 2 brothers from Fishers have been indicted on federal terrorism and firearms charges.
The government releasing details about the men and pictures of those weapons. The U.S. Department of Justice says 21-year-old Moyad Danan and 20-year-old Madi Danan allegedly attempted to, quote, provide material support and resources, including firearms, to ISIS, a designated foreign terrorist organization.
Federal investigators say the Danan brothers agreed to manufacture guns which they believed would be shipped to the Middle East to ISIS and its members.
This is a breaking situation. However, investigators say the brothers did not realize they were working with an FBI undercover agent. Both men made court appearances today in Indianapolis. They have been in federal custody since their arrest on May the 15th. RTV6 is working to learn more about the brothers' arrest and when they might face a trial here in Indiana.
And tonight we are digging into a safety concern for drivers in Carmel.
It is no secret that there are many roundabouts in Carmel. The exact number, 126, and this is just one of them.
But some drivers say tall plants leading up to those roundabouts are making it difficult and even dangerous to drive around.
RTV6's Nicole Griffin is working for you tonight, looking into this issue and bringing those concerns to the city.
Standing right next to these plants here near one of the roundabouts in Carmel, you can see just how tall they are. If I put my hand over them, they're a little bit above my waist. And for drivers, especially those in smaller vehicles, turning into the roundabout is difficult with these plants.
I think it should be more of a clear view as opposed to bushes and shrubberies blocking it.
Shazia Afzal navigates roundabouts in Carmel daily, but she's now teaching her teenage son how to drive. She's concerned about tall plants at the roundabouts blocking the view to pull out.
For seasoned drivers, it might not be such a big issue, but for young adults who are learning to drive, like my son, which is my primary concern, and I see his friends also have the same issues, that they're unable to see the cars that are entering from the other side, and that blocks their view, and I think it's more of a hazard at that stage when they're learning to drive.
A city spokesman with Carmel says engineers design the landscaping for the roundabouts, and they go out to check the line of sight frequently. If you drive up to the roundabout with the nose of your vehicle at the yield line, there should not be any line of sight issues. I've informed them of concerns with plants like these. They say in general, if plants block the line of sight, they can work on correcting them with different plants. Coming up tonight at 6, I'll tell you why the landscaping in the middle and on the medians serves a larger purpose. Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Thanks, Nicole. And if you have any safety concerns about the roads you drive on and you can't get help, contact RTV6. Email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
And now at 5, you should feel that difference. And oh, does it feel so good. We're starting to get a break from the heat and the humidity after that super warm Wednesday. We have partly sunny skies this evening, as you can see on the Salesforce Tower Cam. But the big news, of course, is the break from the humidity here at the tracking center with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory to fill me in on what can we expect. And we're going to head out tonight to the patio, the pool, or the park. We have our pick of choices tonight.
So yesterday, 105 for the heat index. Our heat index right now, 89.
We like that.
That's what we're talking about. And here's the reason why. Blame the wind, or thank the wind, I guess would be one way to put it. Yesterday it was an uncomfortable southwest wind. Today, north-northwest. That is helping give us brief relief is the way I would put it. We'll still be comfortable during the day tomorrow. Nice breeze, lower humidity, temperatures about where they should be for this time of the year. 87 in Indy, 88 in Columbus. Temperatures tonight will cool down to around 60. These are the heat index values. And notice there wasn't much of a change from the actual temperature. There's your warmest heat index at 90. We're dry. We'll stay that way for several days. Through the evening hours, any clouds that you see will fade away. The wind will be light out of the north, and we'll go from partly cloudy to mostly clear and 76 by 10 o'clock.
You know, some people come out here and talk to their loved ones, and I want to be able to do that. I don't want to complain every time I come out here.
Graves covered in weeds and dead trees. People want better for their loved ones buried at a cemetery in Shelbyville. RTV6's Stephanie Wade is there tonight to take a look at this problem and try to get some help.
One woman says it's disheartening to see what the cemetery is like when she visits her loved ones. She says her whole family is buried here at this cemetery in Shelbyville, and she wants better for them.
I don't want to come out here and be mad every time I come out here. I want to come out here and be able to visit my family.
For more than 20 years, Jody Longstreet says she's been coming to Forest Hill Cemetery. That's because 14 of her family members are buried here. But she says she's never seen it look like this. She cited several dead or downed trees, some on top of headstones, and weeds and tall grass surrounding graves. Lately, she says she's also had issues with lawnmowers damaging her mother's grave, but has been told by the cemetery it's not their responsibility.
I just want them to keep up on it. I just want them to mow. I want them to weed eat. I want them to take care of it.
We went to the cemetery today to see what they have to say. Their response coming up at 6. Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Stephanie, we'll see you tonight on the news at 6. New developments now at 5. The ACLU of Indiana is asking authorities to reconsider flag desecration charges against 2 men accused of burning a flag in Fishers on the 4th of July. 18-year-old George Drake and Christopher Graham, also 18, each face 4 felony counts of arson, along with misdemeanors for criminal mischief and flag desecration. They allegedly burned the American flag displayed at the Nickel Plate District Amphitheater on July the 4th. But tonight, the ACLU is reminding lawmakers about a 1989 case from Texas. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that a defendant who burned an American flag during a protest was fully protected by the First Amendment. The ACLU believes that decision could protect the men in Fishers from being charged with flag desecration. However, under Indiana law, a person who mutilates, defaces, burns, or tramples any U.S. flag commits flag desecration and can be charged with a Class A misdemeanor.
Metro Police are investigating another homicide in what is turning out to be a deadly year in the city. Investigators were called out to the 1700 block of Bolton Avenue on the city's east side. Police say a man who had been shot died at the scene around 6 this morning. This marks the 71st murder of the year in Indianapolis. In 2018, we had 69 murders on this day last year. If you have any information about this case, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-8477 or TIPS. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, last week's huge earthquakes in Southern California are putting the rest of the country on alert. Seismologists believe the next big one will happen soon.
But Amanda, first, big news involving Bobby Knight, where he may be moving and why it's significant to anyone who loves IU basketball. But first, Kevin Gregory.
Temperatures down a bit tonight. I think you'll find both tomorrow morning and Saturday morning quite comfortable. Low temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll talk about the warmth for the weekend, though, coming up.
Welcome back to RTV6 News at 5. It looks like the coach who brought 3 national championships to Bloomington will return to live there. Bobby Knight and wife Karen closed on a new home on Bloomington's south side last week, according to records filed with the Monroe County Assessor. After being fired as men's basketball coach back in the year 2000, Mr. Knight kept his distance from IU and Bloomington. But in April, as you may recall, he returned to campus to see a baseball game, and last year spoke to a large crowd at Bloomington South High School. And now it appears he's moving back to Bloomington, just a few miles away from Assembly Hall, where he won so many games.
A major traffic alert you need to keep in mind. Beginning tomorrow night, NDOT will close whole sections of I-65 and I-70 on the south side of Indianapolis. This affects all lanes of southbound I-65 from the south split to I-465. Again, that starts tomorrow night. The closure will last for 9 days, and all lanes will reopen on July 22nd. NDOT will then close all lanes of I-70, both eastbound and westbound, from I-465 to the south split on July 26th. That will also last for 9 days and reopen August 5th. The closures are in response to rain delays NDOT experienced in May and June. Another Democrat has thrown her name into the ring to potentially fill the congressional seat being vacated by Republican Representative Susan Brooks. Former state representative Christina Hale is the Democrat who has served as an executive at a nonprofit agency since she left the legislature in 2016. Hale is the third Democrat to announce a run for the congressional district that includes the north side of Indy, Carmel, Fishers, Anderson, and part of Kokomo. Also in the race is Dee Thornton, who lost to Brooks in last year's general election, and Jennifer Christie, who lost to Thornton in last year's Democratic primary.
From the nation's capital, President Trump's deportation raids are expected to begin this Sunday, leaving the future of thousands of migrant families simply unclear. But questions remain about where will ICE house all those detainees, as detention centers are already overflowing with many people. ABC's Mona Kozar-Abdi is in Washington with new information tonight.
The threat looming for weeks.
They're going back to their countries. They go back home.
But now plans are reportedly underway for nationwide raids arresting thousands of undocumented immigrants. The effort coming weeks after President Trump tweeted about the operation, then subsequently postponed it to give Democrats a chance to fix asylum laws.
Please make sure that everybody, who you are, no matter if you're documented, undocumented, that you express these rights.
Immigration rights advocates gathered in Chicago Thursday and denounced the raids.
It has to stop now.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham defending the raid, saying it's simply enforcing the rule of law.
To deport people who've gone through the process and lost their case, to me, is not cruel.
But House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says families are being torn apart and asked the president to reconsider.
As they prepare to go to church, they feel very threatened and scared by these raids.
According to the New York Times, officials say, quote, when possible, family members who are arrested together will be held in family detention centers in Texas and Pennsylvania. But ABC News has confirmed that ICE is already operating beyond capacity, housing more people than they have beds for. At the same time, the Trump administration is fighting against these disturbing images released by the Inspector General of the DHS and allowing cameras to capture these pictures of a recently opened facility showing unaccompanied minors laughing and playing soccer.
Well, we're going to bring the cameras in. We're going to let people see the facility.
The Times also reporting that the raids may have limited success because all one has to do to avoid arrest is not open the door when ICE comes knocking. Mona Kozar-Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
A man who escaped from the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, Indiana, has been captured. The Indiana Department of Corrections says officers found 39-year-old Travis Hornet shortly after midnight this morning inside of a vacant home in Beverly Shores, Indiana. That is right next to Michigan City. Again, that's where Hornet escaped from custody. The Department of Corrections says Hornet was originally serving a sentence on a burglary conviction, and he is now expected to face felony charges of escape and residential entry.
Let's talk about your money. Most of us have a credit card or a debit card or both, but which card is the best to use and when? Working for you, our Scripps team talked to the experts. CPA Vince Guadillo says there are pros and cons to both credit and debit cards. A pro for credit cards, it helps you build credit. That's something you can't do with a debit card. Now, many credit cards also have rewards like cash back options or ones that help you earn and redeem points on travel. Here's a key feature, though. Credit cards have an extra layer of protection if they get hacked.
Monitor your transactions, keep a copy of the receipt. When the statement comes in, you match that up. Immediately contact the credit card company, and they will, handle it accordingly.
Now listen, debit cards can also get hacked as well. And because they're connected to your bank account, thieves can get away with your hard-earned cash. But debit cards, not all bad. They can help keep your finances in check. You will immediately see a charge from your debit card in your checking account, so you have a good idea what's going out and into that account. But keep this in mind about one of the biggest concerns with your credit cards.
You may not see how that grows so quick. And at 18 to 21% interest, if you don't pay that within 30 days, you could be surprised at what that balance could be.
Yeah, that could hurt, experts say. With either method, monitoring your account is always key, and spending within your means is always recommended.
Developing tonight, the mayor of New Orleans says the city's water pumps are, quote, working at optimal capacity as Tropical Storm Barry moves towards the Louisiana's Gulf Coast. But Mayor LaToya Cantrell added that flooding is a threat because slow-moving heavy rains are expected from the storm. National Weather Service meteorologists say New Orleans could get 10 to 15 inches of rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Some isolated areas could see 20 inches. Barry could hit Louisiana as a weak hurricane over the weekend.
It is tough to see those images considering how much damage water can do when you have heavy rainfall. The good news for us here at home, the humidity is said goodbye, bye-bye for a couple of days, right, Kevin? And
it won't turn its back on us for long. It'll be back over the weekend, not as oppressive as yesterday. Okay. I mean, that was just very unusual. 75 was our dew point. That is more like New Orleans. So yesterday's heavy rain in central Indiana is now off to the east into eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, headed toward the mid-Atlantic. Let's go ahead and slide down to the Gulf Coast. Just south of New Orleans is where Barry is spinning now, a tropical storm. Latest forecast keeps it a tropical storm. It has the potential to be a weak hurricane, but it's the rain that will be the biggest threat here. 40-mile-per-hour winds now, and it's just kind of moving west at 5 miles per hour, very slowly, in other words. As that comes to the north-northwest, will come on shore somewhere in the middle of Tennessee, and that should, Louisiana, and that should be early morning hours as we get to Saturday. Then it will go into and just west of Memphis and then come up into the Ohio Valley. We may see some rain from remnants Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. We'll keep our eye on that. Temperature now 84 in Peru, 87 in Indy. Remember yesterday, mid-90s in spots with heat index values well over 100. We've toned the humidity down, and that north wind has kept our actual temperature down as well. Say hello to Pepper Marie. She'll have a little pep in her step this evening as the humidity is not as bad. 82 degrees at 7 o'clock, down to 73 at 11 o'clock tonight. You can send your dog's picture to me and I'll take your dog for a walk during the forecast. Kevin.Gregory@WRTV.com. Very comfortable tonight. Enjoy this, and then the overnight low into Saturday. There won't be anything this cool within the next week. Temperatures around 60 first thing in the morning. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow with lots of sunshine, low to mid 80s. And I love doing this. Usually we use our TrueCast to show you timing and location of storms. Let's just roll from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to show you no storms and not much in the way of cloud cover either. You've got the green light for anything you've got planned for tomorrow. Temperatures where they should be this time of year. We step it up a bit into the weekend. 89 on a Saturday, 91 Sunday with more humidity. That will push the heat index into the upper 90s. Then the chance for thunderstorms with remnants of Barry Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures in that stretch around 70 for the low instead of around 60 like we have tonight.
Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, it's almost time for a food fight.
No, we don't want you to start one right now at the dinner table. Only on RTV6, a new ABC show called Family Food Fight airs tonight. And you love to cook, so this will be up your alley.
This is going to be a fun one. It features family teams coming together to show off their cooking skills. The wife of the NBA superstar Steph Curry and Aisha Curry host Family Food Fight. She sat down with RTV6 to share how the team's recipes for family love are more impressive than their culinary expertise.
And she says her favorite part of the show is really seeing how the families fall in love with food. Listen.
They can take themselves back to a time that was like a monumental moment in their life, and they can remember the meal that was being cooked or the meal that was being eaten. And I think that that's really special because it really, food and family, they go hand in hand.
The Currys are invited to my home anytime they want to come over and cook. You can come over, Mr. and Mrs. Curry. Aisha Curry says the center of every team's story is how food helped them grow and nourish their relationships.
And although it's called Family Food Fight, it's really a battle about baking for love. So you can watch these families cook their way to success tonight at 9, only on RTV6. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
A very good day to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV. It is a busy day here on Court TV Live as we are covering 2 high-profile trials for you. First, we're in a verdict watch in the penalty phase of Florida versus Scott Nelson. The sequestered jurors began deliberations about 1:05 in the afternoon on Wednesday. Will today be the day they decide how to punish this man? He is facing the death penalty for brutally murdering beautiful Jennifer Lynn Fulford back in 2006. 2017. We'll be bringing you the verdict live as soon as it comes in. And there was a development in the form of a question this morning with the jury asking for a readback of testimony from 2 of the mental health experts. They specifically wanted to hear testimony where the words bipolar or PTSD were used. And we're covering a heartbreaking trial out of Georgia. 91-year-old Adam Bennett was allegedly beaten to death by the person who was supposed to be caring for him. Landon Terrell was working at the assisted living facility where Bennett was a resident, and now Terrell is on trial for murder. The state rested its case in chief this morning, and it seems as though Landon Terrell has decided not to take the stand. We have gavel-to-gavel coverage all day long for you right here on Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. Now back to you in the studio.
Julie, thank you. You can keep up to date with all of those sensational cases and many other trials on CourtTV.com. Now at 5, amazing footage that you have to see tonight.
Body cam video shows Ohio police busting into a burning house to save a child's life. Cleveland Heights officers rushed to the scene of a house fire when they learned from the homeowner that her 6-year-old son is trapped inside. The smoke filled the home.
Without any hesitation, patrolman Josh Robertson, he crawled under the heavy smoke and began searching for their child. Police and firefighters say the officer could not see anything but heard the boy moaning and felt his way around until he found the unconscious child and pulled him out of that burning home.
Luckily, the boy began breathing on his own, and everyone involved knows the boy is alive, thanks in part to Patrolman Robertson.
You know, we as police officers aren't equipped as the fire department is. You know, we don't have the mask and the equipment to go into a fire, so he risked his own safety to save a child. And to me, that is just absolutely amazing. I can't even sing his praises any better.
A high five to that officer and to all Good Samaritans that do good work every day. The 6-year-old boy who was pulled out of the house fire is expected, great news, to make a full recovery. Coming up tonight, all new at 6, providing support for moms in the workplace, where you can turn for help to find the right balance between family and the job. It's all new tonight on the news at 6.
But first on the Now Indy, every minute matters in an emergency. And 40 years after IU's Health Lifeline helicopter debuted, we'll show you how the crew helped one boy become the teen he is today. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back with the Now Indy.